Buckle in, Aries, because things are getting very serious for your sign. As I'm kind of looking at what's going on astrologically and just tuning in energetically, it feels like you are redefining what is possible for you, or really pushing against these sort of boundaries or limitations that you have either put on yourself or you have been conditioned to believe about what is potential for you. And I'm really seeing a lot of this with Saturn about to enter into your sign. That's going to be happening on May 24th, and it's going to be there for the next 90 days before it retrogrades back into the sign of Pisces. So there may be a bit of a preview for what is to come over the next few years for you during this time, but also this is a timeless reading. So even if the astrology isn't syncing up to what I'm saying, really just trust that these energies and messages are meant for you if you are feeling drawn to this video. I do also see that potentially with Neptune also coming together with Saturn here, there is something that is kind of being dissolved, because Saturn can represent restrictions and limitations, and maybe even kind of things that we are working for or have put in a lot of time and energy for. They may be dissolving or changing or transcending. And something I talked about at the beginning of this year is that 2025 really feels like a year of an existential crisis for a lot of people, and perhaps most especially for you, Aries. And I don't mean this as in a negative way. I don't want you to hear this and freak out. I actually think that this is a beautiful awakening for a lot of you, because what I mean by existential crisis is it's almost like you're waking up in your own life and you're realizing what isn't working for you anymore and what it is that you really want. And I really get the sense like there is something here where it's kind of like you're dialing in, you're honing in on something. I did pull a couple of plant cards for you as well. We will get to the tarot in just a moment, but I actually got pine and dogwood. And the message for each of these cards is preserve and defend. And what's so interesting about this is that I'm getting the sense that it is important to stand up for yourself. Now is not the time to be passive, and in fact, protect the things that are most important to you. So if you don't know what that is, maybe this is a good time to really reflect on what you value most, what is most dear to you. I also get the sense that some of you might have been working towards something and maybe you are feeling like you want to give up, or you're kind of at the end, or there's just a lot of conflict. There's a lot of burden right now. I'm going to be honest, I feel like you should not give this up yet. Now is the time to persevere. Now is the time to really double down. Which is kind of interesting telling that to an Aries, because I feel like sometimes you almost get the opposite advice, like you can be very stubborn, very aggressive. But I do think with Aries being so fiery and being so Mars ruled, sometimes when things don't go the way you want them to, or as quickly as you think they should, you might have a tendency to give up, or you might have a tendency to think that it's not meant for you. This is not one of these times. I feel like you are meant to persevere, and you might be sick of hearing this message if this has been a recurring theme for you for some time. It might also just be a message for kind of the chapter that you are embarking on, particularly over the next couple of years at the time of this recording, or whenever this is what you are watching this. And I do know that pine is sometimes used like a glue or an adhesive. It's also used as an antiseptic as well. So it feels like creating strong bonds and defending strong bonds is really important. And there's something protective in creating those bonds, those joints with others and with community. So that could also be something that's very significant here during this time as well. So I really do want to get into the tarot for you, because it feels like this is kind of an important reading. As I am shuffling, I just want to thank all of you who support this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. If you've been following around and haven't done so already, I really encourage you to hit that subscribe and bell notification so you can always stay up to date with what's in the cards for you. I do have links in the description of this video for personal readings and distance Reiki sessions, which you can book with me on my website. I am also going to give you a little bit of a heads up that I'm probably going to be rebranding soon. So again, if you've been following around and haven't done so already, now is a really good time to hit that subscribe button, so you can always be sure that you are getting the latest and greatest for you. So what are the messages for Aries here? What is the wisdom and guidance for Aries? Show us clearly, please. Interesting. Ooh. Okay. It's not that bad. It's literally like what I've just been saying. Ooh. There is something that you tried to walk away from, or a situation that felt like you couldn't really win. Even if you did win, it was almost like, what cost did this come? And I saw this with the Nine of Wands, which feels like being a little bit defeated. It feels like there's been some sort of long-term battle or conflict. This could be involving a relationship, or it could just be kind of a life struggle. I'll pull a little more clarity in a moment. Maybe this is kind of multiple things for you. It likely is, actually. Oh. But the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords and the Nine of Wands, I almost feel like there is something you've tried to walk away from, something you've tried to put an end to, and you just can't. You just can't. These are cards that are coming in from the past. And just looking at the oracle cards that I pulled at the start of this reading, the energy I'm tuning into, it's almost like there is something that is coming back from the past, like an old conflict, an old battle, something that is unresolved. And you may not even necessarily see this coming with the Four of Cups. It's kind of been something that's been sort of in the background or kind of left on the back burner. And I don't want this to freak you out, okay? Like, this is actually a really, really powerful time for you. You know, like, I feel like you are going through a struggle of character, or like something about your greatness. Because I feel like there is something with like legacy. Let me pull a little more. Because I'm getting a sense of like your character is being defined by these things. Even if it's not what you want. Even if things haven't gone the way you had hoped. Or as easily as you hoped. What are the messages for Aries? Let's clarify this energy. Wow, Temperance and the Sun. This is beautiful, by the way. Because what this is really telling me is that, yes, there is this beautiful thing that has been a work in progress. It has taken time to cultivate this joy, this life, this creation. And I even look at the crane or the stork that is often associated with Temperance and the Star. And it does feel like a conception or a birth. Something is being born. I mean, obviously this is a general reading, so this is maybe not going to apply to all of you, but if there are those of you out there who have been trying to conceive and been struggling to do that, this could even be an indication quite literally of birth. With these particular cards, especially if it's been kind of like a battle and a struggle. You've tried, you've given yourself some time, you've tried again, and it just feels like there's almost this burnout. And it's like when you least expect it too, with the Four of Cups. And it's interesting because it's almost coming when it's like you've given up, or like you, I don't want to even say given up, but it's like, maybe for some of you, it's like you get what you want and realize you wanted something different. But I still see the Sun and Temperance as incredibly positive. Because there is healing with both of these cards. Maybe some of you needed to walk away to recover for some time, and you are coming back to something full force. And I mean, that is Saturn. Saturn is dedication. Saturn is discipline. And I'm going to be honest with you, Aries. Saturn is considered in its fall or at its weakest in your sign. That's because Aries is generally more of a fast, instant gratification sign. It works for things now. It's very much about the present. And Saturn is very big picture. It's kind of zooming out, delayed gratification, long-term thinking. And so Saturn kind of representing structure and organization, it can kind of erode a little bit in your sign. So on the global level, this is going to be sort of an interesting thing, because I do think we're going to see some institutions kind of crumble a little bit, especially with Pisces there, or with Neptune, which is very Piscean. And it can also simultaneously represent a sort of transcendence, like a releasing and a transcendence. And so for you, I almost get this feeling of like, fuck it. Like, I just need to do what I want to do. I can't bargain with myself anymore. I can't work in ways that aren't aligned with me anymore. I just need to be very direct with what I want. And so Aries, having Saturn in your sign might not be the most comfortable per se, but it's going to be a gift. And it's not always easy to see Saturn as a gift. And I'm sorry if you don't really care about the astrology. I personally think everything in the universe is like giving us so much information all the time. I draw divination from like daily life even. I really feel like for you, Aries, Saturn is almost like a rock tumbler. You know, it polishes off your edges. It might be painful. It might hurt. It might not be comfortable to lose some of these edges, to feel like you're kind of almost being diminished or reduced in some way. But you're losing these edges and it's helping you shine. It's cutting you like a gem. And it really is like you becoming your highest self. You activating your potential. Particularly with Neptune here as well. It's really quite interesting to see these two very different planets coming together in your sign. And again, everyone is going to feel this energy in different ways. But having an Aries placement, whether you're an Aries sun, moon, or rising, you're feeling it in a very personal way. And knowing what part of your chart, what house is ruled by Aries, is going to give you a lot of hints as to what area of your life is going to be most impacted. Yeah, Page of Wands. Reconnecting with your creativity, with your passion, your inspiration. You're about to get very inspired. And you might be needing to let go of people and things that don't inspire you. I'm getting that with the Four of Pentacles. And letting go doesn't necessarily mean like blocking people or cutting ties completely, but it's just sort of like detaching, getting a little non-attached. I sort of feel that for you. Something is coming, and you do need to defend yourself. Four of Swords, Four of Pentacles. Something is very serious here. What is this looming thing? I'm looking at these four swords kind of looming above this sheep, this lamb. I know this card can look kind of ominous, but the way I've always sort of seen it is like this lamb is aware. The third eye is open. It knows that there are these swords that are about to fall. And so it's kind of biding its time and its energy. It's resting for now. And I almost even get a sense with this Four of Swords where it's like, if this lamb stays perfectly still, the swords will not fall onto it. It will fall perfectly around it. And so being in the right place at the right time, knowing when to stand up for yourself, and knowing when to conserve your energy. There could be something with a relationship here with the Two of Cups. Maybe someone who... Tell me more, actually. Why is the Two of Cups here? I think this is a new thing. I think there is a new relationship coming in with the Eight of Wands. Maybe someone is messaging you or reaching out to you, or you're just kind of having a very sort of fated or fast encounter with somebody. That might be something that's also looming in the horizon. So again, this isn't all negative, but I do feel like wow. Yeah, there's a relationship for some of you with the Lovers. Okay. I'm wondering if there is a relationship that you need to defend. I'm wondering maybe if this is some kind of queer relationship or non-traditional relationship. Maybe that's what you are defending, is a partner, or the people or things you hold most dear to your heart. And that's why it's important to know what you value. But there is a relationship that's worth fighting for and worth protecting. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Oh man. Not the ex coming back. I don't know if that's what this is, but let me clarify. I don't think this is an ex. There might be, you might be defending a new relationship because there's an ex who's like coming back into the picture, maybe gossiping or starting drama or just kind of sending negative energy your way. Very interesting energy. A lot of things happening. Yeah, Ace of Swords. There's a lot of sudden and new beginnings, a lot of insights, a lot of surprising messages, I think, coming in. I don't think you see this person coming. Like this new person, this new relationship, or like whatever is happening in your relationship, it actually feels like there's a really amazing opportunity, something that's very like profound and beautiful, life-changing. Maybe you're moving together if you are in a relationship. It just feels like there's something really exciting in a relationship, and there is at least one person or party or group who is jealous or resisting it, or has some sort of tension around this for whatever reason. Haters gonna hate. Honestly, that's what this is giving. Yeah, and as I say that, the Four of Wands, you are celebrating something. There's an achievement, and yet it's bringing some unwanted attention. And I do feel like this is a glow up for your love life as well, or moving to the next level in a relationship, or finding a really solid connection. There's a lot of fours here too. We have the Four of Swords, Four of Wands, Four of Pentacles, and the Four of Cups. We do have all four fours. So you might be seeing sequences of fours, which to me are kind of about protection. Interesting, given that you had the Oracle property Defend. You are divinely protected right now. Really call in your ancestors and your spirit team, whoever it is that you work with. But I do feel like you have some sort of divine protection, even if there are other people who are trying to interlope or interfere, especially in regards to your relationships or something that is very close and near and dear to your heart. Love will prevail. And it is worth fighting for. Interesting. What are you fighting for? What is going on here? What is this thing that you're taking a stand for, or who? And if there's nothing that comes to mind, maybe it's worth kind of jotting down or commenting. What are the things that you stand for? And what will you not stand for? I think is also a very important question too. Anything else for Aries? I think this might be the last card. The Eight of Swords. Don't overthink things. You're not as stuck as you think you are. Your life isn't as stagnant as you believe. Or you have an ability to get yourself out of this situation. There are way forwards that you might not be seeing, especially since you did get the Four of Cups earlier. And because it does feel like you kind of have to swim upstream, there is a little bit of resistance, there is a little bit of fight, and that's why it feels like, oh, maybe I'm stuck here. I think it's going to surprise you just how little effort it's actually going to take for you to change your life or to turn things around. Especially if there's been something that you haven't been allowing yourself to do or haven't really tried. Maybe you've just come up with reasons why you shouldn't, or you've just convinced yourself that something's not meant for you because it hasn't happened, or there's just been like something that's been a struggle. Push against that a little bit. Because I really do believe that sometimes, yes, we have moments in our life where things just happen so synchronously that it feels like it almost falls into our lap. I do also feel like there's moments in life where we are kind of being tested or challenged, almost to show if we really want what we think we want. Do we really want to put in the time and energy that it takes to get it, or to maintain something, to maintain our dreams, to maintain our potential or realize our potential, or to deepen a connection with another? We think we want these things without necessarily recognizing that it is still, everything is energy. And especially with Saturn, it's like, what am I putting my time and energy and focus into? There was one more thing. And I forgot, so I'm just going to assume it wasn't that important. Is there anything else for Aries? I want to just look at the bottom of the deck. Three of Pentacles, working together. Yeah, maybe you're working together with a partner. And, this doesn't even need to be a romantic connection. Maybe this is like a business partner or platonic partner, someone you're building something with, or maybe there's a group of people. But it feels like this is a time to kind of gather things. This is about climbing a mountain. You are climbing a mountain right now, Aries. This is not going to be an immediate thing. So it's important that you are gathering your supplies, that you are working together and planning this journey that is ahead of you. And it's funny because the Three of Pentacles in some systems of timing with tarot could literally represent 3 years, which is about how long you're going to be feeling the Saturnian influence that has been kind of pervading this reading. So at least at the time of this recording, which I'm assuming is when most of you will be watching it. But again, these are timeless messages. So maybe there's something 3 years from the time you're watching this. Maybe this is even referring to the past, around 2025 of May, when something is beginning, or there is this kind of commitment or project that you are embarking on. I feel like you're not meant to do something alone either. And I think that's something like, we're often told of this kind of myth of the self-made person. And the truth is there are so many people and things that went into creating that person. There's often privilege, there's often resources, there's often access, but it's the person who gets all the credit for that. And so I want to tell you, like, there's no such thing as a self-made person. Let yourself be assisted. Have enough humility. Put down your ego, your pride a little bit, to take in the support and assistance of others, because I do feel like that is coming in. And maybe you are supporting someone else in this time as well. Maybe you're working together on something. But Yeah, those are all the messages I have for you, Aries. It feels like a very significant time for you, and I hope this didn't come across as heavy. It definitely had like a gravity to it. I don't even want to say heavy. Yeah, this was a heavy reading, but that's not a bad thing, always. So I hope that this doesn't make you feel pessimistic. I hope, if anything, it kind of invigorates you because that's how I'm feeling this. And I'm hoping that's what's coming across here. It's like committing, doubling down, getting serious. That is very much the energy I have here. So I encourage you to really do that, to really commit to that. And I will see you all in the next video. I do hope that this gave you just a little bit of push that you needed today or whenever this found you. Again, you can find all of my links in the description of this video for personal readings, energy healing sessions, as well as all of my other social media accounts. And I will see you next time, Aries, sending lots of love and blessings your way. Take care.